Pixar co-founder Ed Catmull observed that leadership in major organizations is often dangerously insulated. Decisions are made based on information filtered by a layer of agreeable yes-men who actively hide the chaotic truth of the operation. This organizational insulation is now hard-coded into modern enterprise software. Most dashboards are designed to show leaders exactly what they want to see, rather than the verified, messy reality of the underlying data. The result is architectural theater. If a network connection drops while a user is submitting a request, the interface might confidently display a failed error state. But the software doesn't actually know if the server received the command. It is just projecting a guess onto the screen. An elegant interface masking a broken or unverified foundation isn't a helpful tool. It is a critical liability. In its earliest years, Walt Disney maintained operational superiority by being the first to adopt every new technology available. He used sound, color, and technical depth to establish an absolute level of creative control. By the late 80s, the company had lost that technical DNA. Production stagnated, relying on safe sequels and subjective, good-enough artistry that lacked the technical rigor of the founders' era. Steve Jobs and Ed Catmull provided the intervention. They realized that Pixar's survival depended on forcing a blunt technological change into that stagnant culture. Their solution was mathematical. On films like The Rescuers Down Under, Pixar replaced subjective painting with a system where every single frame was processed and verified by a computer. They traded artistic assumptions for a verifiable backbone. Today's software industry suffers from a similar stagnation. Dashboards have become the modern equivalent of those safe 80s sequels, polished on the surface, but technically hollow. DavidOS was built during a 115-day operation in Sion to correct that. Solving for this requires more than just a prettier UI. It requires moving past good enough presentation and processing every operational event with absolute mathematical proof. DavidOS is designed as a governed digital institution. It is a system built specifically to hold decisions, evidence, and operational boundaries in a form that refuses to guess. To prevent the UI from lying, the system enforces a strict separation of powers. The Corkonian presentation layer is barred from making decisions. All logic is handled by the impenetrable Aeroscate engine. And this is the audit press architecture. Every single action taken within the system is invalid unless it produces a cryptographic receipt that an external auditor can verify independently. This architecture enables the strict outcome unknown rule. If a connection is lost, the system is forbidden from showing a success or failure state. It admits it doesn't know, preventing a confident lie from entering the record. The system builds in a pend-only timeline using Merkle tree grids. Every decision is locked sequentially into a chain. Because each block is linked mathematically, the vendor cannot secretly rewrite a past decision without breaking the entire chain of evidence. An operating system's value is found in its inability to alter its own historical record. This verifiable architecture is built for the highest stakes environment in a building, the boardroom television. On a screen this size, the data becomes an institutional landmark. The boardroom mode replaces simplified charts with high-density execution queues and live hash trees. It is designed for inspection, not just viewing. Users interact through a spatial D-pad focus system and a web speech API integration. This isn't a passive presentation surface, it is a functional operational hub. Moving this data to television transforms the screen into an unfalsifiable institutional cockpit. Steve Jobs believed in affecting the baseline of an entire industry by building tools that established new, non-negotiable technical standards. DavidOS applies that standard through radical honesty. Every local application is explicitly labeled Demo Live, Local Double, No Command Authority. It refuses to claim operational readiness before the evidence exists. Crossing the bridge to a pilot live state requires passing a series of documented hurdles: persistent Postgres storage, production-grade key custody, and formal legal sign-offs under Swiss data protection law. This uncompromising stance, refusing to deploy until the foundation is proven, is how you disrupt an industry that has grown comfortable with good enough. It is a move toward the highest tier of operational standards. Real disruption doesn't come from a better marketing campaign. It comes from engineering a system that is literally incapable of lying.